So before I start, I just want to state the obvious, which is this is a very touchy and difficult topic to cover in a video in the first place, but I want to do my best because I think that this is important to talk about for other creators out there that might be going through something similar or might be going through a big struggle in their life. It's unfortunate to have to do this right after a happy holiday has just passed, but it is fairly recent news. The creator of the manga Sexy Tanaka-San was found dead recently, and it seems like it was a suicide. I believe they found a note. Of course, it's still being investigated, but it looks like all signs are pointing in that direction. Now, obviously, we already know, or at least most people, most weebs, like myself, know that mangaka out there do not have exactly very exquisite working lives. It's more so just a pure passion of what they do that leads to their work being very well done and leads to chapters being uploaded very quickly in the manga universe. It's just the fact that they're very passionate about what they do. But working conditions, pay, not so much up there, and that can cause a lot of stress, especially with the crazy deadlines that they have for a lot of new mangaka out there. And sometimes people can get very crushed underneath that pressure, and normally they just, take a sick break when they're feeling down on their luck, but sometimes it gets a little bit out of hand. There's no actual confirmed reason why the mangaka would have committed suicide at this time. But she did make it public not too long before the suicide that she was having a lot of frustrations between the live-action adaptation of her manga, basically complaining that the network behind the live-action adaptation were not staying true to their promises. So she agreed to go with this live-action adaptation for the following rules. Stay faithful to the manga, which is a big rule, of course, everybody knows. The drama's original ending must have its own ending. The original author will prepare everything from the synopsis to the dialogue, so it doesn't affect the future of the still unfinished manga. And please do not change anything prepared by the original author. So basically, these rules are to keep the control in the hands of the author, which is what most people want when they get excited for an adaptation of somebody's work. They want the author to have as much control of it as possible, because what the fans want is what the author produced, not some network, right? Unfortunately, even though they agreed to these conditions, they would send her back scripts that were edited to be completely different from what she wrote in the manga or what she wrote on the scripts. Characters with strong personalities were changed to a different character who are far removed from the original. Scenes that I had carefully depicted as the core of manga, such as attempted sexual assaults, stay-after pills, the difficulty of men's lives, long dialogue between these two characters are drastically cut or deleted, and not depicted properly. When I asked them the reason for this, I received no satisfactory reply. She then told the network that if they were going to erase the individuality of the manga series that she had portrayed, she would want to stop the live-action adaptation from being made. And she stated all this publicly. Everything here was public. So there's this constant back and forth between the network submitting her back a script and then her submitting back an edited script and then back and forth, kind of pushing against two visions of what this adaptation should be. Meanwhile, the deadline is approaching fairly quickly, and it kind of seems like they were trying to wait her out, or they were just trying to exhaust her to the point of her just giving up trying to work with them. And at the end of this public rant that she kind of went on talking about how frustrating all of this was, she says, "I understand some of you may have been dissatisfied with the scripts for episodes 9 and 10. To be honest, I still don't know what the best decision was. Once again, I'd like to offer my sincerest apologies." And then all of these statements, all these tweets, were deleted. Instead posting, "I didn't mean to attack you. Sorry." Who she was specifying when she says, "I didn't mean for this to be an attack, I'm sorry," I assume it was the script writers or the network, all the people behind the live action production, I assume she's talking about those people saying, oh, I didn't mean to like insult you guys by saying that your scripts were bad. It's just not what I wanted. So I can only assume that they probably contacted her directly, probably gave her a piece of their mind, and then she deleted the tweets and just, that was her final tweet right there. Now I will say, it's not exactly advised when you're working with an adaptation of your manga, of your comic, or whatever story, to talk bad about the production of the adaptation before it's released. In fact, some contracts do not allow you to do that, otherwise you could be in some trouble. And I don't know if maybe they threatened her with some sort of action there, I'm not entirely sure, but something definitely set her off at that point and led to her deleting all of the tweets. They did release statements kinda talking about how saddened they are about her death and everything, and now they have an approval for the script, so they're going ahead with the series, but this is not the best way to start off a live action series, I gotta say. I think you have driven away all of the fans at this point once they find out that this happened. I mean, really, probably better to cancel. What's also interesting is there was an interview with the Manga Artists Association president, Mangaka of Celestial Rainbow, if you've ever heard of that. They said, I don't know Miss Ashihara directly, but based on her comments on social media, I can tell how seriously she put herself into the work. I'm filled with regret. I believe that many manga artists, not only myself, feel helpless that we could not do anything as colleagues. It was an event so painful that I cannot find any words to describe it. And to be honest, I would have refused to do an interview about this case if I could have. However, there may be young people who are suffering alone from the same problem as Miss Ashihara. Please, please, please do not assume that you cannot speak up because you are in a weak position. Please do not be fooled by the illusion that the publisher is more powerful than the author, that the TV station is more powerful than the publisher, or that the sponsor is more powerful than the TV station. I would like young people to be proud and say with dignity, this is what I want, and if you can't do it, I refuse to make it into a movie. Sometimes there may be some unbelievable people who threaten you, saying if you resist, you will never be able to draw again. Please do not be fooled. The production team for a visual work is a long one, but the author of a manga is basically one person. There are many creators who are immersed in the creative world and live by standards different from those of the general public, who are not good at communicating closely with others, consulting with others, or making suggestions. That is why we hope that publishers will protect and support each and every mangaka. So now what's my take on all of this? Well, I think a lot of mangaka out there, all they live for is telling their story. Because they're so passionate about it, it's seen as the top priority of their life. But the problem is when you only live for one thing, the moment something goes wrong with that thing, it's like your whole world is crashing down around you. If you don't have other outlets of support, you have nothing to fall back on when something goes wrong. And I think that is a big problem that people don't consider when they dedicate their life to their work. I would never knock down someone who works extremely hard and makes something beautiful from their hard work. In fact, I encourage more people to go out there and do that. Living for your manga is one thing, but also live for your friends, live for your family, live for your favorite cafe place or your favorite series that it's going to end soon and you can't wait to see the ending. Live for amusement parks and video games and other fun things. Make sure that your life is filled with fun things and people who care about you and who will be there for you to support you when you're having rough times like this mangaka clearly was. I know people out there, when their greatest passion in life, something goes wrong with that, they feel like it's the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. It's just a temporary downslide. It'll pick up again. You just have to hold out for a little bit longer. And that's part of the main reason why I wanted to make a video about this topic. Even though it is a very sad topic, I feel really bad that this happened, but I want other people out there to know, even if it feels like your world is crashing down before you, there are many, many things in this world that can help make you feel better. Please seek out these other things. Seek out stuff that'll help keep you happy. Be active about keeping yourself happy. If you're living in a cramped place and all your clothes are on the floor and every day you trip over the clothes and you're so angry because you tripped over the clothes and it hurt, move the clothes so that you won't have to get angry anymore. You know? When you see easily removable pockets of stress just lying around, don't just procrastinate and leave it there so that you'll prolong your stress. Do something about it. Actively try to keep yourself mentally healthy, because it is important. It is important to take time out of your day to make sure that you are mentally healthy. Part of the reason why I started burningstarcomics.net, right? Because I wanted to put more happy into the world. And I know that this is not the most happiest of videos, but hopefully I can just make some of you a little bit more aware that you have to keep up with making yourself happy, and don't let yourself spiral into stress and depression. So I think I'll leave it here for now. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time with hopefully a happier video. Bye everyone.